Welcome to New Life Live with host and founder of New Life Ministries, Stephen Arterburn. New Life Live is dedicated to transforming lives one at a time, thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's Steve.
Hi there, and welcome to New Life Live. I am really glad that you are with me, and I'm just going to turn down my headphones a little bit here, and I'm going to be able to hear you even better. Joining me today, we've got a special program. Lisa Daggs is going to be on the program. Now, she is one amazing country western award-winning artist, and then she's got a brand new book, No Turning Back, Regardless. Regardless, of course, is the, I think that's the, what do you call it? Title song or whatever on an album. Anyway, my days of music are over. But Lisa's going to talk to us, and quite a story there. Joining me, two PhDs in Regardless. They'll just, regardless of whatever problem you have, they will find an answer for you. And I'm talking about Dr. Sheri Keffer. Hey, Sheri.
Hey, good to be with you both.
And Dr. Alice Benton. Hi, Alice.
Hi, Steve. Hey, everybody listening.
Well, it's good to be with you too, and I don't want to delay any longer. I just, whenever we have somebody like Lisa on, why not have her on from the very first second of the program? Lisa, welcome to New Life. How you doing?
Hi, Steve. I'm so excited. I don't know if you remember, I interviewed you several years ago on a show I had at the Fish Salem here in Sacramento called Reality Check Recovery Talk on the radio, and you're so easy to talk to that I've been looking forward to this, so thank you.
Yeah, it was just like yesterday we did that interview there. I have no recollection. But anyway,
I was like, he's faking. He's Lisa.
I bit the bait. It's okay.
Yeah. It's
anyway,
so fun to have you on the show. You have an amazing story of triumph out of the worst situation.
Now let's talk about something here, Lisa. Where are you? Where do you live first? Where are you right now?
I was born in Hollywood and I raised in Sacramento. Moved to Nashville. Moved back to Sac. Moved to Nashville, and I'm in Sac. Hi, in Sacramento in my office right now. So. All
right, and the entry into country western music for you was what? I mean, you were out west, California, but that's usually not. Yeah.
That's what my mom said. She's like, what? Because I was raised on, like, Dusty Springfield, Tony Bennett, Boots Randolph, Burt Bacharach, all that kind of stuff, kind of some really soulful, bluesy stuff, And so she's like, why country? I mean, we never listened to country. I don't know. I put my own band together, and I went out there, and we were doing top 40, and so Winona and the Judds and all that were hot back in the day, and Trisha Yearwood, he's in love with the boy. She's in love with the boy. Well, it could be the other way around today, too, but we hope not. Anyway, so it just became a part of what I do, and I'm not like classic country. I color outside of the lines into a bluesy, rockish feel I'm a storyteller, but not a liar anymore. I try not to.
That's a cool thing to say. Well, I want people to know that while we're talking to a very rational, sane, just a wonderful person who's got her act together as much as any of us can have it together, there was a time where Lisa, back in '89, was sitting on a jail cell floor with women all around her, and it was not good. So we're going to talk about that, how you get out of that. Now, if you want to join us, we'll talk to you about just about anything. But if you have some level of desperation, it doesn't get much lower than where Lisa was. And so we're going to give you some hope here to get out of it. You can join us at 1-800-229-3000, 1-800-229-3000. And the name of the book, No Turning Back, Regardless.
For years, all I did was focus on my husband, and my needs were unmet because of his sexual addiction. The counselors focused on him, and all the books I read were about him and how to help him.
My name is Sheri Martinkus, and I want to personally invite you to the Restore Workshop. If you have been affected by betrayal, it might be that your husband has been looking at pornography, it might be an emotional, physical affair. I would love for you to come join us.
This weekend gives me permission to now focus on me.
You will leave with hope, with a community of sisters ready to support you, and you will also leave with tools to move you forward on this journey.
I am so thankful to New Life for giving me what I know now is going to be a new life.
The Restore Workshop is coming to Dallas June 26th through the 28th. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE to find out more. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. This is the Strong Women Hour with Dr. Sheri Keffer, Dr. Alice Benton, and Lisa Daggs. And Lisa is just a wonderful artist and a wonderful woman of God. The book, and you can get that by calling us, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Salem Books is the publisher. No turning back, regardless. And really glad to have you on, Lisa. And as we get started, why don't you just share briefly what's the main message of this book, or who are you hoping is going to grab a copy of this book?
I'm hoping everybody does. I'm sitting on a few myself.
As I tell people, getting one for every room of your home is not a bad idea.
Great idea.
Well, Lisa,
I was actually listening live. I mean, I narrated it, which was kind of a thing that audio.com said that they only let the A-listers, first-time authors, narrate their own books. They said, welcome to the A-listers. So yesterday, I spent a lot of time in prayer over today, and I was listening to myself, and I got to to chapter 8 or 9 in it. So I think it's for everybody that has struggled with not feeling like they're enough, that has battled with unhealthy relationships, trying to find the right relationship. Also, drugs, alcohol, eating disorders, if you're a victim of sex trafficking, any ism, porn, whatever. I believe that you'll find yourself in between the pages of this book, and my hope and my prayer for that person who grabs the book, the download, the Kindle, the audio, whatever it is that they see themselves between the pages, and like me, that they will be rescued, they'll be redeemed, and they'll be restored.
Well, I am fascinated by so much of your story, and I think because it does wash over our stories, truly. I mean, most of us haven't ended up in a jail cell. And when I heard a part of your story, in your own words, you were talking about how your husband had betrayed you and you're about ready to lose your house. And there is so much that happened to you that happens to us. And the impact of all that, our lives can spiral out of control. And that's what it felt like to me, is you were on this dark spiral.
It was crazy. And that's crazy, crazy. I was clean. And the one thing that he couldn't take from me unless I gave it up was my sobriety. Because I did lose my house in 2008, like many did. I had not a reverse mortgage, but a new loan that was supposed to happen. They were helping us out with new loans, and it was supposed to go through, and they said if that one didn't, they had 5 more, and I got it in on time and finally got the sign over from him, and it went to auction anyway. So the bank had just lied, and we had a studio built, and my daughter was only 8, and it was she and I. She's my only child. She'll be 20 on the 19th of May. So I may have at times had $300 and some odd in my personal account, but I didn't let her know it. and we moved back to my mom's house. We shared a 10 by 10 bedroom for a while. We were both on twin beds, and we moved 4 times in 5 years, and still trying to keep a ministry together and going through a brutal, brutal divorce. I met him in church too, and he was a musician, and he'd been on the road for many years as my guitarist, and I just never ever expected. I trusted him more than that,
Yeah.
I trusted him more than.
For our audience,
Can you all see me?
Lisa?
Because I can't see you. Can you see me?
No, we can't see. But hey, Lisa, here's a question. What was it that was most significant in turning things around for you? Maybe not just at one place, but a couple places. But what would you say was the big turning point for you?
Well, it goes before I met that husband I was talking about, and it was I fought the law and the law won, Steve. I was singing. I had an all-girl band up in Tahoe. The first line of and Gloria Gaither wrote the foreword, and I don't know a better lyricist than her. And by the way,
she's an English major, by the way.
They're dear friends of mine. I travel with the Gaithers quite a bit, and we'll be seeing them in September. But also, thank you for your endorsement, if you remember. Host of New Life Live, Steve Arterburn. But my turning point was, I finally had made it. I was in Tahoe. I had my all-girl band, and, I was doing the life. I was living the dream, but I had $1,000 a day at the end of my running. I don't think anybody starts, at $1,000 a day in rock cocaine. It is a sneaky little trap that the enemy likes to play with all of us. And the door gets opened a little bit, and then nothing quite satisfies, and so we want more. And that's where.
So you were doing coke. You were doing $1,000 in coke a day. Talk about an addiction.
That's my end of my running. 30 years ago, too, $1,000 a day. So yeah, it was the first thing that called my name, and it's the last thing I thought about when I went to sleep. And but I did believe that Jesus Christ was the Son of God, and that God, it was the Father, and I believed the Trinity and 3 in 1 and the Holy Spirit, and I believed that church was, that the Word of God was true. I just wasn't serving Him. And Steve, you asked what was the breaking point. It wasn't the first arrest, the second, the third, but the fourth. And I was facing, the first one was a wet reckless before I was 21. The second one was a drunk driving. The third one was a DUI, drunk under the influence, or driving under the influence with a possession charge of cocaine. And the fourth time was possession for sale. I mean, I had a triple beam in my trunk, and I had the little origami wrapped grams ready to go,
Wow.
So I was facing 3 to 5. So when I said I fought the law, they won, and I bowed.
So you hit bottom, or the bottom came to you?
Your story
came to me.
is one. Your story is one that says, every time somebody does get in trouble, that they can, FedEx guy just came by. Anyway, somebody that is in trouble, and you say, well, there's no hope, and they just got another under the influence or DUI or whatever. But I've always felt like, every one of those, you're getting just a little bit closer, maybe, to the end. Maybe getting a little bit closer to finally saying, okay, that's it. That's all.
Hope so, huh?
Yeah, that's all it takes. And so we never ever want to give up.
I think we do that because I made a lot of promises to God. Knowing I was a believer, and God, if you just get me out of this one, I promise. ... But this fourth time, I meant it. I truly meant it. It was like, I am facing. I had Steve and our guests. I've been up for 10 days this time. I had been up without sleep, just drinking and smoking rock for 10 days. So I had left my purse in a bar, and I was supposed to go to a 49ers game the next day. So I thought, oh my gosh, I can't believe I left my purse there. I went back to pick it up, and the owner said, you're going to have to get it from the sheriff's department. And I was like, why don't you just give it to me now, you know. And so I went on a complete spin. It was like a meth addict on one, you know. And I was driving my Celica around like a crazy person because I'd been up for so long. And I see the sheriff car in front of my mom's house, and I drive by and try not to act like I'm looking. I see he has this little teal leather purse in his hand, and he's walking up to the door, and I'm like, oh, good, just give it to my mom. Just give it to my mom. Just get it, and I drive by. These are how addicts act, and they get crazy. We get crazy. And then I drive by again, and he's just talking to my mom, and then I drive around a couple other blocks so that it doesn't look in, and then I drive by again, and he's walking back to his unit, back to his car with the purse in his hand. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And finally, I drove by again, and he was sitting in his car, and I pulled up like nose to nose with him. You know, the wrong side of the road, but I pulled up. I just turned in. And I got out of my car, and I said, I believe you're looking for me. And he said, are you Lisa Daggs? I said, I am. He said, is this your purse? I said, it is. He said, are these your drugs? I said, they are. And I'm really, really tired. And he took a look at my license, and he looked up at me, and he looked at my license, and he looked up at me, and not to offend anybody, but he just said, you look like hell. I said, well, thanks. You know, and we talked for about 40 minutes, and Steve, I thought, you know, we were having this great conversation because I was always an honest drunker user. I mean, I just tell what you see is what you get. A lot of times I don't filter it, you know, and it just comes out. He goes,
well, Lisa,
yeah, I thought
I don't want to
get let go, but he didn't. Okay. He kind of handcuffed me.
And so that's when you ended up in jail. Then that was the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we got to take a call because that's what people tune in for. Hold on here, and don't know if this will relate to your situation, but if you've got your 2 cents you want to add to it, let's talk with Nikki here from Long Beach, California, listening on KKLA. Anybody else wants to join us? 1-800-229-3000, and I'll mention that we'll be in the studio for a couple hours, and we'll do another program right after this. You can join us on Facebook Live. Lisa is actually on Facebook Live, too. I can't see her, but other people can. Nikki, Long Beach, how are you today? How can we help?
I'm okay. Thank you so much for taking my call. And Miss Lisa, thank you for sharing your testimony with us. I just have a question.
Okay.
I have an out-of-control teenage daughter, and it's really, really bad, and I don't know what to do.
Okay. What is she doing that's so out of control? What's she doing?
Oh, my God. I don't even know where to start. She
Molly's
runs away. She's 18. She runs away.
18.
She goes and comes as she pleases. Yes, sir. She's just everything that I do, she does the opposite. Like, you know, I go to church and I don't listen to certain music. It's like she's rebelling against me, you know, and she's smoking weed all the time, and she's yelling and fussing at me, and she'll disappear for days. One time she went to Vegas, you know. She's 18.
When did all that start?
Really
when did all of that start?
I've been having problems with her for 7 years now.
7 years. Wow. And is Dad at home?
What happened?
No, it's just me, and then I have a little baby.
What happened at 11 years old? What happened in her life at that young age?
I don't know. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like,
how old's your baby?
I remember I could pinpoint it. My baby is 15 months old, and it's just me and my baby and my 18-year-old in the house.
So something happened. Something happened, girl. At 11 is a really young age, and Lisa, you'll probably agree with that. When you think about an 11-year-old,
yeah,
it's so young to start pushing back. And typically, what happens is usually something has happened. It could be something you don't know about. Could be a molestation. Could be bullying at school. Could be all kinds of things. But this has been a 7-year process for her, and for some reason, my guess is she's felt missed, not seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could tune in on that one. We went through the divorce when Faith was 8, and we were very, very close, and then moved her to a public school, and she did well there, was popular, liked, was the only 4-year varsity cheerleader. However, she got in with some friends and did the raves and mollies and things like that. And this mama went in after her one night, and I don't know what the turning point. I know there was a lot of hurt from the divorce, and there was a lot of ungodly things that you would expect a Christian dad to do, And
well, Nikki, I want you to hold on. I've got to go to a break. We've got to go to a break here. I can't negotiate breaks, so you hold on. We'll be back with more Lisa Daggs right after this.
After I found the pornography on the internet, I said you either get help or I have to leave this household.
Every day, thousands of women discover their husband is struggling with sexual integrity. And since shelter-in-place orders have gone into effect, traffic to porn sites has skyrocketed. New Life's Every Man's Battle Workshop can help.
I believed that I could do it on my own. I just believed if I tried hard enough and pulled myself up hard enough by my bootstraps, I could do it. It was a battle that I'd had all my life. I had to get help.
The Every Man's Battle Workshop can be a trip to the Sexual Addiction Emergency Room. During this time of social distancing, the Every Man's Battle Workshop will be held online Saturday, May 9th. Find sexual integrity, accountability, and connection. Register now to reserve a place at the Every Man's Battle online workshop. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
The single most helpful thing was to realize that I wasn't the weirdest guy on the planet.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-NEWLIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addictions, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
You guys are awesome. You're a blessing to America.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first step toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, please call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433.
We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn here. I have Dr. Sheri Keffer. Intimate Deception is her book, and what a great healing source that is. And Dr. Alice Benton is on, and we have Lisa Daggs, and we're talking with, by the way, Lisa's book, the title, No Turning Back Regardless. Great story of, just hitting the depths of despair and then coming back from that. Now, Nikki has an 18-year-old, and if things don't turn around here, I mean, it's going to be another one of these horrific stories. And so, Nikki, we were at the break, we were talking, Alice has a couple things she'd like to say to you there.
Nikki, you must be so torn and so worried between your older daughter's behavior and caring for your 15-month-old as well, and trying to figure out the balance with this. And because of your daughter's pot use, I'm wondering what interventions you and her father have attempted, whether it's going to Al-Anon or getting her connected with any sort of outpatient program or meetings. What have you attempted already with your daughter, Nikki?
Everything. I went and got her a mental evaluation. We did family counseling together, family therapy at the mental health place. I had my pastor talk with her. I had the first lady talk with her. I actually had an actual intervention with myself and my mom and my brother, and we sat her down and talked to her. I tried to talk with her dad and send her over there with him, and everything goes in one ear and out the other, and she hangs around really bad people. Like, it's a nightmare. I feel like I'm being poisoned by her. I really do.
So you know what? The truth is, she's being poisoned. And it's so easy to think it's about us. It's so easy to make it about us. Pot is horrible for the brain. It makes you lose this thoughtful part of your brain, your boss, and so you make really stupid decisions under the influence of. And I love Alice's question. It was a very good one, but what I can hear is she's not listening even with a soft family intervention. Y'all, whenever that happens, what we have to do is we have to go to a higher level of care. It may be that you and your husband, are you still married? Her dad or no?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
No.
It may be that you and her dad need to talk about putting her into an interim patient for a while so that she can sit in a group with others and begin to see herself, because her ears are clogged. And if y'all want to get her care, a conversation is not enough for her right now.
And Nikki, do you have any leverage to be able to help her accept inpatient care? And is she even under your roof right now?
She is, but she just goes and comes as she pleases. She doesn't listen to me at all. Everything I say is an argument. She's
so is she working?
Fussing.
Is she
she's
working?
Not doing anything.
Okay. So how does she afford? How does she afford a cell phone?
She has one of the free phones. Those free phones that they give people out here. She has that free.
And does she receive any financial support from you or from her father?
She, every now and then, I'll give her like $10 or $20 because she has no money. But I don't know where she gets money. And she looks bad. Like she's not herself. Something is going on in her mind. Like if you look at her, she doesn't dress right. Sometimes she doesn't even comb her hair. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah. She's using.
It's crazy.
She's using. And when you're using and you're out there, I mean, we don't know what she's doing to get money, right? She's got to eat somehow when she's away. She could be acting out with other guys. She could be selling pot. Who knows? But it is there any way you think you might be able to get her into an inpatient?
I can try. She doesn't listen to me at all. Like I'll tell her to do something, she won't do anything that I say. Like nothing. I don't know.
Okay, so Nikki, when a parent has an 18-year-old that can be independent, you think that you have no leverage or anything, and I think kind of the battle cry here is I can't kick her out on the street. Is that right?
Yes.
So
I don't want anything to happen to her.
Yeah, so it's happening to her. It's just more gradual. And so you're going to need to get into some recovery meetings for yourself, and you're the one that's going to need to get a therapist. I want you to hold on. We're going to try to find a Christian counselor for you. Because, see, you need someone that can help you strategize out of this position. Here's the position that you're in with your daughter. Learned helplessness. You're in a place where you're essentially resigned to, there's nothing I can do. That's what I've heard. There's nothing I can do. She won't listen to me. Well, you know, when a child won't listen and you're providing a roof over their head and food and money here and there, then we have to up the consequences of what they're doing. And we have to stop protecting them. And we have to stop acting like this is just a bad time or phase. We have to treat it like it is cancer. This is where you get a therapist. And that therapist asks your husband to come and meet with the two of you. And the three of you develop a plan. You look at all the options. But you talking to the ex, saying, oh, you know, I just wanted her to go over there. That's not a plan, her going over there. The plan is you get the professional help and the guidance. He joins you, and then you guys look at what are the options. And one of those options one day is going to be you either get into this program or you don't have a place to stay. It's just that tough.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit it's addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have Christ-centered partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
I'm an addict, and I'm trying to get God in my life again.
You seem to be able to get to the crux of a problem quickly.
Our Christ-centered treatment programs can help you break free to embrace all that God has for you and your family.
I just want to thank you guys for bringing me to a relationship with Jesus.
There really is help for marital problems, depression, addictions, panic attacks, and feelings of hopelessness.
I came back with so many tools to help me prepare myself to fight this struggle and this battle that I have every day.
You can start living again today, living the life God intended for you. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
They did care, and they did follow up very lovingly, and it made all the difference in my life.
Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Someone who cares is waiting at the other end of the phone. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Just call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-639-5433.
We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We are back from the days they used papyrus to the coronavirus. We have struggled. Everybody's struggled, and I want you to pray for Nikki. And these are these situations where you have to say, I have to do something different, or this is going to get really bad really quickly. And so you do what you can do. The first step for everybody that's in one of these learned helpless situations where the child trains you not to interfere is you have to get help for yourself. And we can help you with that. You call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We will do that. And I'm going to send Nikki a copy of How We Love Our Kids. I hope that will be helpful to her in working with this 18-year-old. If you have a 16-year-old, you have about 85 times more influence over them than you do an 18-year-old. So you want to deal with the problem younger than older. At 11, that's where you start really making sure there's connection and that there's a lot of supervision, and you just don't let kids run free. I mean, it's just too dangerous. All right, let's talk to Larry Sonnenberg here before we go back to Lisa, because I want to hear about Lisa's recovery process. I got a caller wanting to make a comment about Lisa's story. Larry, how we doing, and how are you doing? And let's talk about doing good.
Yeah, well, Steve, one of the things I want to talk about real quick before I ask folks for support, excuse me, is I want to ask the listeners to let us help you. Been making calls, thanking supporters, checking in on friends, and some of the other staff is. And as we've talked to them, we're discovering a lot of people are still hurting, and they're looking for help. And some people aren't aware of our daily video. They have to opt in to do that. We send an email to everybody. But if you would like to get a daily video, and they're from our Club New Life library, just go to our homepage and you'll see a segment how we can help you right on the home banner, and click on it. But we need you to help us so we can continue to help all the folks, all of you. Yeah. We've got all these resources, but we just need some help. And Club New Life is a great way to help. $30 or more a month, and during this crisis, this COVID crisis, that has been the wind beneath our wings, so to speak. We need one-time gifts too, but I know that we've got a lot of calls waiting. I don't want to take a long time, but I do want to just ask for your continued support, please. And thank you, everybody who is.
Amen. Thank you, Larry. 1-800-NEW-LIFE if you can help us. We've got Lisa Daggs on the program here. I want to go to Donald. He's got a comment. But also, Lisa, here's what I want to do, because time is always so limited. Talk about what you do today to maintain recovery, sobriety. What are the things that somebody out there might hear and they think, I really do need to be doing this if I'm going to stay solid in my growth, recovery, my faith? What are you doing in recovery?
Well, right now, being in lockdown is not a good place for me to be. I suffer a little bit with anxiety. And so usually, and being a singer, I have 10 CDs out, getting ready to record my 11th. And, usually it's November through February where it's a little dark time of no bookings unless you have a Christmas CD out, which thank goodness I do. I have one out. So then I get some dates during that time. But it's kind of a dark time. But what I do, I could stand to even go to a meeting if we were able to right now, even at 30 years clean and sober, and just listen to some people's stories to encourage me in my walk. But what I do, what I have to do, because I want to be really, really bold and honest right now, is that last Saturday and Sunday were not my best days. I went ahead and stepped in the big old mud pile of just slight depression and anxiety. My anxiety was like at a 55 out of 1 to 10. I wasn't the most loving, understanding person walking around. I was probably not the worst, but I was definitely not letting God lead my life. And so I didn't even want to be in my own mind. And so I don't want to discourage them. Oh, well, that's what you get after 30 years of sobriety. It doesn't happen like it used to happen. But what I realized, Steve, is that I had taken life in my own hands again. I was trying to rule my life. I was trying to run it. I was trying to, I wasn't putting God first. I wasn't greeting him in the morning. I wasn't praying in the morning. You can hit your knees at night, but it's kind of like, oh, Lord, bless my mess that I made today. If you greet him in the morning and ask him to guide your life that day, give you opportunities to open your mouth that day to bless somebody else or to help another addict, alcoholic, or, in this, you can't be 6 feet apart. That's it. But so
it's so funny that you're saying that, because one of my favorite Psalms, Lisa, that I have, written the date by so many times, it's Psalms 32:9, and it says this: "Do not be like a horse or mule, which have no understanding, but must be controlled by a bit or bridle, or they will not come to you."
Idle.
No, and I get that. And so programs.
Turn me this way, turn me that way. Because
I know.
Like order. I like to know what I'm doing today. I like to know what the schedule is. I like lists. I like to check them off. So what I've done in this coronavirus time of being as sober and vigilant and aware and healthy as I can be is I pulled out a sewing machine my dad gave me when I was about 15, and I made like 4 tops and these 3 pairs of groovy 70s pants that have these wide bells on them, and I've been making jewelry, and I don't sit still well. I still don't know how to quite rest.
I think your example does speak to our audience, because we talk a lot about anxiety and depression and how to maintain sobriety, and you're giving a really good example of being creative, being productive.
Pick up something else, right?
I have a neighbor of mine. I have a neighbor of mine who's going through. I have a neighbor of mine that's going through some anxiety, and she pulled out a sewing machine and she started making masks for some of us on the neighborhood that didn't have one, through clothes. She took, some of the old fun clothes. But
That's
there's
pretty cool.
so much we can do with that anxiety to channel it into something good rather than acting out.
I mailed.
Well, let's go to Donald Let's go to Donald. He's calling us, listens on Sirius XM. Donald, they said you had a comment you wanted to make, and welcome to New Life Live. Glad you're here.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you taking my call. I can relate so much to Lisa. And she's one of few that I ever hear talk about being a Christian and not really following God and going through so much. And the devil can get us so wrapped up in ourselves. And I had an IV cocaine habit for a few years, been a casual social drug user for 30 years up to this point. And really what the Lord did with me is I overdosed. And me and my wife at the time, we hit the floor. She hit the floor, overdosed, and then once I woke her up, and she was alive. Just I heard, but he showed me my 2 children standing over my grave.
Wow.
And he told me, I'm going to give you one more chance. And I got up from there, and I went to the toilet. I dumped it all in the toilet, and that's been 16 years ago.
Good for you.
He just literally scared the Hades out of me. And I can relate to 3 years ago, the young lady you were just talking to with the 18-year-old daughter. It just brought a tear to my eyes because I had a stepdaughter the same way, and she was going through the goth stage with all the black nail polish and makeup and everything. And we finally, she even got so deep into spiritual warfare that she was hearing voices, and she'd actually go into some type of seizure, and there was nothing medically could ever be found. But a spiritual counselor that we talked to us about spiritual warfare, and he talked to her and found that unforgiveness for her mom and her dad splitting up when she was 5, she held on to that unforgiveness for all those years, and for 11 years, and it just got so bad and so bad and so bad, and Satan just did a number on her. But once she was able to forgive, she made a major change in her life.
Well,
and
Donald, you point out something. You point out something so important, I think. A lot of times we think spiritual warfare is something that we battle with an unknown entity, some force from outside. But hey, what is more devastating spiritually than to hold on to bitterness, resentment, anger, unforgiveness? Same with ungrieved loss, things like that. The spiritual warfare can be just the battle to do what we know we need to do to be free. Well, we'll be back right after this. Hang on, we've got another program to do right after this.
After I found the pornography on the internet, I said you either get help or I have to leave this household.
Every day, thousands of women discover their husband is struggling with sexual integrity. And since shelter-in-place orders have gone into effect, traffic to porn sites has skyrocketed. New Life's Every Man's Battle Workshop can help.
I believed that I could do it on my own. I just believed if I tried hard enough and pulled myself up hard enough by my bootstraps, I could do it. It was a battle that I'd had all my life. I had to get help.
The Every Man's Battle Workshop can be a trip to the Sexual Addiction Emergency Room. During this time of social distancing, the Every Man's Battle Workshop will be held online Saturday, May 9th. Find sexual integrity, accountability, and connection. Register now to reserve a place at the Every Man's Battle online workshop. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
The single most helpful thing was to realize that I wasn't the weirdest guy on the planet.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-NEWLIFE.
I was really living a very anxiety-filled life. I turned on New Life, and the topic that day was about anxiety. And just by listening, I got relief.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the Transformation Welcome Gift, which includes a personal-sized Life Recovery Bible, a Life Recovery Journal, and 5 Life Recovery Workbooks. Plus, there are ongoing benefits like access to the Club New Life video library, the monthly Club New Life CD or download, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, and discounts on workshops.
I did go to Take Your Life Back. That's been immensely helpful to me. That's why I continue to support the ministry with the hope that not only am I helping my own situation, that I'm helping others as well.
Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back, and we've got Lisa Daggs on the program. The book is entitled No Turning Back, Regardless. She's a wonderful, wonderful artist. She's written this book of hope 30 years since she's been using. And, you know, a lot of folks could use a story, a realistic story, and things that have happened in our isolation. I mean, it really does bring out the worst in us, and we need a realistic story of hope. Let's go to Ursuline, Reading, Pennsylvania, WBYN. That's the station. Hi, Ursuline. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
What's your question for us? We don't have a lot of time, but I did want to try to get one last question in.
Well, there's a whole lot of time, so maybe I have to call back tomorrow or something. But my real problem is I have a 38-year-old son.
He's 32?
He started.
And he lives at home?
33.
33, and he lives at home? No?
He's in and out. He's not here.
Okay.
But he told me, for years I know that he was using drugs because he wasn't living with me all the while. But I keep telling him to stop it. But now he confirmed it to me that he's using drugs.
Okay.
He work. Whenever he work, he can't maintain his money. Don't have no money. He borrow, beg, and steal. But that means steal from me, where I have to be hiding. And he borrowed from people, and it getting to the point now that he's calling up all his friends, asking for money.
That's so sad.
Yeah, he like to work, but the thing I'm trying to say, Steve, is I don't know how to get him to get help. He's 33 years old, and he don't want to listen to me. I don't know if I'm the problem. So maybe if he gets help, I can get some help for myself because I don't know.
Well,
I reached my
here's
limit.
the thing.
I don't know what to do.
You know, I know maybe what you'd like to hear, and I kind of know what you don't want to hear, and I sound like a broken record, but here's what I think you need to hear. When you get into your own recovery program, and you're going to Al-Anon 2 times a week. Now, what does that mean? Well, I was just in an Al-Anon meeting online, and that was my second online meeting this week. When you get in to that kind of support and you start working the 12 steps with the Al-Anon stuff, and I'm going to send you a Life Recovery Bible and a workbook that'll help you do this. But look, when you start doing that, all of a sudden he sees you do that. You talk to him about your meetings and stuff, and now he sees a different attitude about recovery and life from his mom, and it has an impact. And then you also discover, hearing other people's stories, what works, what doesn't, what's all about you, what's all about him. And so I'm going to recommend that you hold on, and I said I'll send you a Life Recovery Bible and the workbook for you to start doing your work. And that way you're no longer going to be a victim to a 33-year-old son that comes and goes. And I think the impact on him would be really quite very, very dramatic, because you've never done this before. And anybody that has never gone to Al-Anon and you have an ongoing getting worse, going through the progression, it is getting progressively worse. Somebody in your family, you really need to be in these meetings, and they've never been easier. All of the sites have either Zoom meetings or phone call meetings that you can get involved with, and they can really be quite helpful and inspirational. But you hold on, And again, I think what we all are looking for, magic words that would change everything with a child. There are no magic words.
It's like, I remember, Steve, I can really relate to the stop it. It's like I was living with an addict. I would say stop it because it was hurting me. And it wasn't until I did exactly what you did, Steve, what you said, got into my own recovery and started looking at what I could make choices over instead of trying to control somebody else, that I started getting healthy.
And we
well,
realized
Lisa,
that
as we close, I'm sorry, go ahead.
that allowing consequences does a lot more than the words, and Al-Anon or Celine will help you to do that.
Yep. All right, you hold on, I'll get that to you. Well, Lisa, I hope and pray that people pick up a copy of this book. What is the message you'd like to leave folks with that might inspire them, motivate them to hang in there during these very, very tough times?
Thank you for asking, Steve, because you're for those of you who see me or are hearing me, you are connecting with a girl who was supposed to be a blue baby, fell out of her crib at 8 months old on her head, fell out of a moving car twice, was robbed at gunpoint twice, and then ended up having an addiction and was arrested 4 times. And God redeemed me. And to those parents out there, I want to let you know that I have a 19, almost 20-year-old daughter, and they're going to learn a lot more about what they see you do than by what you say.
Amen.
So when you go to codependent classes and you learn your boundaries, they're going to be like, what happened to you? This used to work. But anyway,
That's
what I want to leave with that, if God can change this girl, $1,000 a day rock cocaine habit, I loved my mom. I just went through losing my mom June 6th. I buried my brother of Hep C. I got married. Also, my husband, the first one, there was 40 women he was talking to online. I had no idea, and I discovered that. So that was the demise of that relationship.
Of course.
And I'm blamed for a lot of that, but I was a faithful wife. I've been in full-time ministry for 30 years. I told God, if you got me out of this mess, I would never quit telling people what you've done for me. So if he can do that for me, read this book. I mean, there are so many close calls in my life, yet, God, here I am today, still clean and sober. I shared my Saturday and Sunday with you, which was the blue. I got in the slump. And that doesn't happen very often at all. It's very far and few between. But starting my day with Jesus is the way to start, and asking him to rule my day, and not me becoming how we do, being addict alcoholics. We become codependents. We want to control everybody around us. And,
I wish we had more time, but we are almost out of time. And so let me let everybody know here. It is the title of the book, No Turning Back, Regardless. Also, new album, Regardless. But Lisa Daggs has written this book. It's published by Salem Books, and I hope and pray that folks who believe that you've gone too far, you've just experienced too much, it's just too difficult or tough. I hope that you'll get this, because it'll show you, God is not going to give up on you. So please do not give up on God. Now, today, 5 o'clock Eastern Time, I'm going to be talking to you about transformation. We just did a thing on limbo, 2 days, and I'm going to talk to you about transformation at 5 o'clock right here, Facebook Live, and really enjoying that time together. If you have a comment or question, I'll try to address it either online or in that program. If you need help, it's 1-800-NEW-LIFE. But we're going to do a program right after this, and it'll be, we've got Dr. Sheri Keffer, and her book on being betrayed. If you've been betrayed, that's what we'd really love to talk to you about in this second hour, because we can give you some hope and help from intimate deception there. And then Alice Benton's going to be with us. You're going to be with us. You call us at 1-800-229-3000. Whether you can help us or we can help you, that 800 number is 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God bless you. Thank you for joining us. Hope it's going to be a good day for you. Don't give up. God's not giving up. You don't either.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you. But you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.
Hi, Steve Arterburn here. Thanks for watching New Life Live on our New Life YouTube channel. You know, you can see it anytime. Hope you'll subscribe, and when you do, hope you'll turn that little button thing on, the bell, so that whenever we post a new video, it'll ring right through. Now, if you go to newlife.com, you'll see the schedule of when we're in the studio, which is helpful to know if you have a question for the program, or you could go to newlife.com or call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. You could do this on the app. I mean, there's so many ways that you can stay in touch with us and know when we're there, because we want to answer your questions. So thanks for watching right here on the New Life YouTube channel, and we'll see you next time. Click here to subscribe.